This property was abandoned for 17 years before I put up everything I had to buy it. The previous owners left everything behind: a house full of belongings, a shop full of tools, and an old pony barn full of classic car parts. It's on a beautiful piece of property, but all the buildings are collapsing in total disrepair. One piece at a time, one stick, one board, we're gonna put this place back together. Back at the ranch, gonna do some plumbing today, mostly digging. So the original house was that section over there. When this section was built, it appears to have been built on top of the main water line into the house that runs along the foundation this way. This is the main water line into the house. Runs in through under the living room now. This addition is not a deep crawl space, I think it's 12 inches. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a dirt floor. It's barely dug out at all. Not how you would do it in modern times. But what I don't want is a cast iron water pipe eventually going bust, literally, under the house where I can't really get to it. To start the process, I pulled out my metal detector. Now this is kind of a novelty thing, but it's a good reason to walk up and down the beach, which is, at some point, you know, if this YouTube channel blows up, what I'm gonna just do with my time. We're gonna turn it into a metal detecting show. I'm gonna walk up and down the beach and drink coffee. It's gonna be wonderful.
You know, spots.
I'm metal detecting all over here, and all of a sudden I saw this hose, and I was like, huh. Thought, like, that's weird. Figured it was just some of the trash around here. And then thought, well, maybe it's connected to something. So I started rooting around, and there we are. So we're gonna dig this out and figure out what's going on in here. Come on. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. That's pretty darn deep. So the old metal detector is seeming to think it's right in around here, which is actually in line with our window. And if we draw a straight line to that, it follows through our weird sticks. So we're gonna try again. Gonna get in here, dig a foot or so down with the machine, and then we'll root around, see if we can find it. Dang, I think I found it. Right there. That's pretty darn deep for a water pipe, but I guess they might have backfilled this. The foundation goes a couple blocks deep, so great news is I don't even think I hit it with the mini excavator. It is a little crazy. I was so close. I just missed it by that much. Well, turned on the water. We got a geyser. Will this valve work? Does anybody know? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's not filling up. That's good news. It just looks really crusty. All right, I'm gonna turn the water off. We gotta dig a bigger hole. Get some room to work. I gotta be in the hole. I'll tell you what, gang, I have dug a lot of ditches to save some money. Paying somebody else to dig a ditch is expensive, and while it's no fun, an idiot can do it. However, I think I paid like 3,500 bucks for this thing. They've gone up a little bit. I think they're close to 5 grand now, but this would have been a half-day project. Digging in wet red clay, 15 minutes. Also, we pulled out this root ball, and that would have been a pickaxe and a shovel and a sawzall, and that also would have added over an hour to the project, without a doubt, having done this stuff before. So for me, this has been an excellent investment. Gang, I've been chipping away at it, and it's not in great shape. I had to pour water on it, try to clean it up. I'm looking for a spot that I can actually cut in. To go from black pipe to PEX without threads, we're gonna have to add a coupler, which is gonna take a certain amount of space. Now that I've done all that, I'm gonna go turn the water back on and see if it starts, you know, being like Old Faithful. Just the harder she blows, you know? All right, water's on. It seems to actually be holding, which is great. The idea is to put this coupler in line there. That will attach to this, and we will turn 90 degrees with this, and then we will attach to PEX with this. So there is our test fitting. So now I need to trim this off in order to get a smooth part of the pipe into our compression fitting. All right, that will be sharp. Don't do that. And here's the scary part. At some point, we're gonna end up with no pipe and be under the driveway, which future me will deal with. But for right now, in order to get the compression fitting to seal, I need a smooth part of the pipe. So I'm gonna cut it as far that way as I can, and then just, you know, commit to the shovel work to turn that way. All right, here goes nothing. It's always gonna be easier to trim back. So this is the issue. We just got these little chunks kind of flaking off. So I'm trying to make this good enough. But remember, that pipe goes under the house, and it's basically 2.5 feet deep right here. So the only way to repair the section that's under the house, were we to have left it, as it were, I'd be going through the floor, turning the corner to the and going straight into the crawl space, where immediately we will have access to it, is the way to go. That's why we're doing all this. See if we can get our little doohickey in. All right, sneaking it way down in there was definitely a pain in the butt, but again, this is round one. So when that leaks like a sieve, we're gonna have to keep working it back, and we're gonna run out of pipe real quick like. I got the PEX over here baking in the sun, hopefully to get it to relax, because it was coiled up. While the PEX is trying to relax, I got this big meaty hammer drill. We're gonna try to go through the foundation here. One hole in some concrete. Waller it out, hopefully. Man, that tore everything up. Coming out of the crawl space over here, so we got more than enough length under there to get it to our first destination. These things are awesome. I've cut automotive stuff, I've cut wisteria vines, I've cut PVC. They're pretty great. I abuse mine and they still work. Doesn't. There you go. All right, that's jammed in. Let's go play Find the Geyser. Just gonna turn on the water, see what happens. I think I turned this on to relieve the pressure. Water's running. All right, see if it's leaking. Might not want to leak until we get it all capped off. So far, so good. Forgot I bought this, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to jam it on there while it's running. I'm probably gonna get soaked, but you can only get so gross, gang. Here we go. Got full pressure running. Is it leaking back here? Tiny bit. Bummer. Well, I guess I'll get down there and see if I can give a crank. We're getting pretty late into the afternoon, and the compression fitting's holding. It's that stupid, I can't believe it's the elbow. I put Teflon tape on it and everything, but maybe I guess I didn't do it well enough. Dang. Kind of want to let it ride for now. It's not that big a deal, and this is not the end of this. Well, I pulled it all apart just to fix the tiny little leak. Now we got this. Dang it. Well, it just blew the new pipe out of the compression fitting. So a guy just earned himself a trip to the picking up the sump pump town. It's getting later, boys. It counts as a trip, you know, plumbing project, just not to the hardware store. Anyway, we've successfully ripped defeat from the jaws of victory. Let's pump this stuff out and try again. It's pretty great to have one of these on hand. I use it all the time. I wouldn't say I use it all the time. I've used it way more times than a guy would like to admit. But when you need it, you need it. Look at it go.
Meanwhile, halfway across the world.
Most of you guys have heard the saying, squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, it probably came from the old Conestoga wagon. In your modern Conestoga wagon, our Buick for example, squeaky wheel needs the brakes. Undo the brakes. You can stay right there though. What in tarnation? Unfortunately, this is about to get interesting. So let's time travel all the way back to the 90s. 1993 to be exact. Oh, that's not good. Poo. We're gonna have to glue that back on, which is broken. Not a good start. It's just trying to spread a little pixie dust and bring you back to 1993 when hubcap burglary was such a concern that it required a specialty tool to get the hubcap off. It's like an offset doohickey.
Maybe they're stealing hubcaps.
That's what life was like back then when you had a luxury car. Always remember to loosen your lug nuts before you lift the wheel off the ground, because otherwise you're very likely to just spin the wheel. And you want to spin the lug nuts, you see. Always jam one of these under there. Old school in that the disc rotor here that gets clamped on by the brake pads is part of the hub assembly. Now that's how it was from the dawn of time for brakes, both drum and disc, until sometime apparently in the 90s, after 93. That means we got to repack these bearings at a minimum. Seen worse, this side's shot. So when the squeaky wheel needs the grease, that little strip is actually designed to ride on the metal surface. You have metal to metal, and that makes the squeak that says, hey pal, do your brakes. Packing bearings used to be a thing that everybody knew how to do, or most people. I wouldn't say it's a lost art, but most people don't work on their own cars, because new cars are hard to work on. You buy tools for this, but you don't need them. You just need your paws. Brand new bearing grease. Look at that. What you do is you take a whack of grease. You take the bearing and you mash it into the grease, and what you're trying to do is force it through the little spinny guys into the middle of the bearing and squeeze it out. It's a messy process, but it doesn't take a special tool. Inner bearing. Now, if this rotor hadn't had this big gnarly whoop-de-doo in it, it would have been otherwise fine. We could have just replaced the brake pads, which are these things that grab on to the brake rotor. The caliper makes the squeezy happen, and that squeezes the rotor, and that makes it stop. Kind of like the brakes on a bike tire, just, more better. This is one of the most satisfying things about old cars. Viola. We just did the front brakes, repacked the bearings, and replaced the rotors and hubs. We did it ourselves because we can. Dog and I are doing the test drive. which it is stopping and not sounding like a screaming demon. Right, bud? All right, Buick is back on the road again in full effect for adventures. Right, pal? Dog, I got the AC working for you. Let's refer back to whatever we were doing. So far, it appears to be holding. All right. As soon as I turn this off, let's see if it blows right out again. Felt like it. Dang it. I mean, maybe we're due for a trip to the hardware store. Maybe those washers don't seat twice. Doesn't make sense, but we'll find out. Round 3. All right, I've taken this whole thing apart like 4 times. Put it back together, it keeps blowing off. I'm gonna try it one more time. And then, unfortunately, the hardware store just closed. So if the washer was like a one-time use thing, well, I just learned a painful lesson. Shouldn't be, it's rubber, it's brand new. Try one more time. And then I'm gonna have to call it for tonight. It's a bummer. Oh boy. I've done it every way possible. I'm gonna go get another doohickey tomorrow. I didn't know those washers could be stretched out, but maybe I managed to figure out how to do that. It's late. I could go to Home Depot. By the time I got back here, I'd be even more frustrated and miserable than I am now. So we are just fulfilling the prophecy that a plumbing project takes 3 trips. I owe at least one more to the plumbing gods. So I'm gonna pack this stuff up. I've got a huge mess, a lot of tools out front. Guess we'll be getting muddy again tomorrow. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So fun. So fun. Home improvement, DIY. Okay. Oh my God, it was holding and I came over here to show you and it just blew out. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm so defeated right now. I had it. I had it. All right. I guess it's tomorrow. What on earth? Okay. Okay. So this shouldn't surprise anybody. I think this is user error. Some of you guys are already yelling at me through the universe and saying, dude, it wasn't leaking the fitting, it's blowing it out, because these are designed to replace an inline thing. There's nowhere to push the other pipe typically. So I'm gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna go ahead and back it with just a block of wood or 2 and see if that solves our problem for now. If it does, I think I can recreate a much more permanent situation that will allow no blowouts, but I'm already covered in mud. Let's try it one more time. How many times are we gonna try this before we realize, you know, maybe it's us?
At least once more, Miss Swan.
At least once more.
As always.
All right, so I just jammed a rock between the end of our contraption here. Takes me a little trial and error, gang. I'm not always the brightest spoon in the shed. So if I turn this off, it's gonna try to blow out, but hopefully it can't go anywhere. Some pump's still running. Pull that out. Was that simple? It was my own fault. It was jammed in there the first time because we just cut the pipe, put the fittings in. Then I cut the pipe back some more, and then it started blowing out because there was nothing keeping it pressed in. Man. Oh boy. Man, I am a mess. I have a great deal to clean up, but that's actually holding. I would have probably, I'm really glad I tried again and used my brain pan, because I was gonna start first thing in the morning, go to the hardware store, get muddy, thinking it was the washer. No. This was designed to be in line, so neither pipe could go anywhere. All right, gang, these things are totally awesome. If you have any reason to get one, live in an apartment, kid's birthday party, holiday parade, just go out and get yourself one, because boy howdy, are they awesome. All right.